All right, I got another one for you guys. Going to be talking about this A44 Saga with Flintlock, the Siege of Dawn, and the whole thing that was going on with Kabrutus. So a little bit of backstory. So this studio A44 was working on this game Flintlock, and apparently Kabrutus had found out that they were hiring Sweet Baby Inc. to do some of the consulting work, some of the writing work, or what have you on the game. And he was going to put it on the list, and he actually reached out to the studio to verify, to allow them to prove that they don't. The studio had made a claim that they don't have Sweet Baby involved anymore, and they rolled all that back. And it's not a problem. It's not a problem. You know, nothing to see here type of mode. So Kabrutus said, "All right, well, we're going to give you a chance to prove it." Reached out to the studio, tried to talk to him about it. They gave him the silent treatment. They wanted to get access to the game pre-release. Or at least have their manager have a conversation with them, and A44 basically refused on all accounts. Seems to me like a cover your butts maneuver, like a standard wall of silence PR treatment that they were doing. Probably not the smartest thing in the world. You know, I'm not alone in that thought for sure. So they were kind of going back and forth about this, and there was a lot of discussion in this post actually about that, and it was a good conversation to have. And I actually kind of changed my mind on a couple of things, but I have my thoughts on that as well. But a little further down the road about this, Grums had discovered that this studio had major problems, and that's this post here. And effectively, they hired this new COO/casting director, Audrey Tops Harjo, and she like shook everything up and changed the main character. Main character was supposed to be a white guy, and now it's a female person of color. And you know, got rid of a bunch of people, hired some new people, froze salary increases, and froze evaluations for a period of time. And this is all rumor, by the way. This is not like concrete evidence. This is not substantiated, but this is what he's discovered through some discussions with quote-unquote former employees. So take that with a grain of salt. I mean, I have absolute faith in Grums, but not so sure I have faith in whoever it is he was talking to. And he even said as much. I mean, he had said, you know, these are rumors. These are not substantiated. So if you have any better understanding of the inner workings, please DM me, as he said right here. However, the rumors were that she had shaken this company up really badly. Apparently, under the hood, it sounds like she really screwed up the finances of the business. She took some of that money and financed her own little side projects, like this. Rumored to have financed some side projects like this Inclusion FX. Which is one of her organizations. She is producer and Inclusion FX founder. So apparently she directed funds towards this thing that she ran, or at least that's the rumor. And then the whole thing with the frozen raises and the employee evaluations and all of that happened in 2021. Sounds like they brought in a bunch of new people, and those people didn't know anything about the game or making games even, and caused a lot of problems there. So now you have the old guard and the new guard, and it's like the old guard is saying, like, these guys don't know what they're doing. And I guess it caused all kinds of havoc. And that's kind of during that whole time, during that whole churn up, I guess she's the one that hired Sweet Baby Inc. to do some writing work. They are probably the ones that wreaked a lot of havoc there, too. Maybe even potentially were the ones that moved that character from a white male to a female person of color. Who knows? But regardless, I mean, this all went down over the course of a year or so, and now we're finding out about it as it's getting close to launch. It's launching in about six months or so, Q3 of 2024. So it'll be interesting to see what happens when that comes out. But long story short, she really screwed this all up. Sounds like the project is completely off the rails. Which in reference to Kabrutus's request for pre-release access, I don't think, even if they were trying to be above board, and it sounds like they are because this Audrey Tops Harjo has been let go. But even if they are above board, this project is a complete freaking mess. No one should be seeing this should not see the light of day. This should not be out there for pre-release access for at least until they can fix it. And to be honest, based on all this information, I if this is at all true, if this is even remotely true, I can't see this coming out in 2024 at all. I predict that if they are truly trying to fix this thing and get it back on the rails, this isn't going to release until 2025 at minimum, just because it sounds like it's really messed up. Now, it could very well be that they're covering their butts because they haven't changed their tune, and they probably maybe just let this woman go just because of the optics. Let Sweet Baby go because of the optics, and they're still doing the same things, but just undercover, and it's not going to change, and the game is going to be what it is. And to be honest, I think my prediction would hold true, and if this does come out Q3 of 2024 or even Q4, I think it's going to be a dumpster fire. I think it's going to be unpopular, and it's going to get bad reviews because it's going to be political soapbox preaching and not a lot of gameplay or fun. But we'll have to see what happens there. It'll be interesting to find out. But this is the story on A44 right now. And let's just get into a couple of my thoughts on this. Now, I think that Kabrutus is absolutely within his right to try and have a conversation with these people before he puts them on the list. I mean, this is not this is not something that isn't on the woke company's radar right now. I mean, his list on Steam, his Steam curator on Steam is very much in the presence of these people. So, I mean, they would have an incentive to at least talk to the guy and see how it goes. But I still think asking for access to the game pre-release is probably a little too aggressive. But then again, he could have maybe phrased it differently, and perhaps he even did, to say he would like to be on the pre-release list to verify, alongside other journalists that would get that kind of access when such a thing would happen. The way he made it sound here, he was looking to get a peek at it right away. But if not, then that would be more acceptable because, when you're in the middle of a game, especially when you're 6 months out, things get a little wonky. And unless it's ready for pre-release, unless it's ready for that early access, you shouldn't be showing it to anybody except for internal testers at best. Now, I haven't worked on big game projects. I've worked on big other projects that is exactly how it goes. You don't show other people until it's actually ready to function the way it's supposed to function, simply because things can change and things can change fast, and features or functionality in those games could disappear and change in dramatic fashion at that point. It's crunch time, and I know there's a big taboo about crunch in game development or crunch in development in general, but it is a thing, and when you're in that mode, things move quick. And it sounds like they're cleaning up a mess while they're in that mode, so it's doubly so for this company. That said, I mean, even if he did ask the way he asked in this tweet, there's nothing that says they couldn't say, well, we can't give you access today, but we'll give you access when we have a copy ready for pre-release for that early access for the people that should get it, like journalists and whatnot, and game reviewers or whatever. They could have responded and said that, and they didn't. They could have responded and said, yeah, we want to have a conversation with you, and they didn't. They just blew him off. And honestly, I mean, 300,000 followers of his list, you're blowing off 300,000 people. You're not just blowing off Kabrutus. You're blowing off 300,000 people that would potentially buy your game if they found out it was worth playing. So yeah, that's a worthy conversation to have. They're not having it. They didn't even, Grums even gave them that advice, like, you should really talk and make a statement or something. However, they didn't take his advice. So we are getting wall of silent treatment, and that seems to be what happens with these things. And that's how it goes. Oh, look at that. Go woke, go broke. Exactly what's happening here. A44 went woke, went broke, or is in the process of going broke. But in fact, I don't know if I mentioned that, but they got bought out by this Kepler Interactive, the publisher, in 2021 after all this thing blew up. Now, for a fairly substantial sum of money, in fact, I might add, way more than this company should be worth. So it got sold to them, and they are also equally in that, political pandering, political ideological injection mode. So it's not going to get any better under Kepler for sure. They are another woke company. So I mean, the politics are going to get injected one way or another, whether it's Sweet Baby or Kepler or people within the studio doing it. I don't think this is going to be the game that it was originally intended to be. I think that company died in 2021 and got replaced with the company we're seeing with this game. So that'd be my guess. And I guess that's all I have to say about it. So that's basically the A44 Saga in a nutshell. Tried to keep it somewhat terse, but I guess I didn't. But yeah, it's interesting to watch, and we'll have to see what happens with this. Personally, I think we're gonna see it Q3 of 2024, and it's gonna be a mess, and it's gonna be probably worse than just being woke. It's probably gonna be a terrible experience, and probably pretty darn broken if the rumors are true. So that's my prediction. What do you guys think? Is this thing going to be a real stinker? Is it going to be redeemed? Are they going to fix it and redeem themselves, or what? Let me know in the comments. If you like these kind of videos, subscribe to the channel, and I will talk to you later.